Part 52. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 511. Back to Hurricane, the crowd did not delay. Although they had just experienced a great battle and killed almost all the high-level zombies in a zombie tide, the four of them did not consume too much energy, especially number 7 and Xiao Wu. As for Wang Feng, he did not even use the instant recovery of Apocalypse. Now he still has at least half of his physical strength, and he will be able to recover to his peak state after a while. Qiu Jian had consumed a lot of physical strength before, even to the point of exhaustion, but at the moment when he was overwhelmed by zombies, a strong sense of unwillingness surged in his heart. At the beginning, after parting with Wang Feng, Qiu Jian was once at a loss. He had been thinking about what Wang Feng said to him, asking him to find a goal to continue living and then come back to him. But at that time, Qiu Jian really couldn't find his goal to survive. Since entering the end of the world, Qiu Jian actually has no goal in life. If he can barely say that he has one, it is to survive. In Lu Qing's camp, Qiu Jian was always used as a free thug. He led the team to do dangerous things. Although he was nominally given a captain, the real person in charge of the camp was still Lu Qing. Even after Qiu Jian's girlfriend was captured by the Black Wolf, Qiu Jian was restricted by Lu Qing's remarks that you can't sacrifice everyone here for one person. The greater the ability, the greater the responsibility, and did not save his girlfriend's life. Later, when he saw with his own eyes that those who had survived by desperately collecting food were mercilessly torturing his girlfriend, Qiu Jian really exploded. After Wang Feng and his team left the camp, Qiu Jian first used the evolution potion left to him by Wang Feng. After becoming an evolver, he traveled to many places and experienced too many things with a sword. He once thought of rushing into the endless tide of corpses, killing crazily, and then being killed by the surging swarm of corpses when he was exhausted. And he did it. It was by chance that he discovered a city surrounded by a tide of zombies. In the most central building of the city, there were less than 1,000 survivors. They had survived in the city after the apocalypse, but the zombies eventually broke through their defenses, and in this tide of zombies, there was actually a mutant zombie king leading them. Perhaps it was because of the appearance of this mutant zombie king that the survivors' camp was breached. Of course, it could also be because of the food, but Qiu Jian didn't want to know what exactly caused the camp to fall. He just suddenly felt that if he rushed in, killed the zombies, and had a good fight, when the battle came to the end and he was unable to fight anymore, he would just fall down and be torn apart by the zombies, which seemed to be a good ending. He knew that in a zombie group of this size, if he fell down, he would have no chance of becoming a zombie at all, because those zombies would eat him up before he turned into a zombie. I don't know what was going on. Maybe it was because his former camp no longer existed, maybe it was because his girlfriend was killed by him, maybe it was because his dream was shattered. Anyway, Qiu Jian, with one man and one sword, rushed into the zombie tide without hesitation. It might be a joke of fate, or it might be Qiu Jian's bad luck. Anyway, life is like this sometimes. The more you want something, the less likely life will let you fulfill your wish, even if your wish is to die. Qiu Jian survived miraculously. Relying on the power of one man and one sword, he rushed directly into the core area of the zombie tide and killed the mutant zombie king and all the mutant zombies around him. Although he was also covered with scars, he survived after all. Moreover, perhaps because of seeing Qiu Jian's courage to fight alone, the trapped survivors also burst out with a fearless will, and rushed out from their hiding places one after another, hacking and killing the zombies who had lost their leader. At that time, the thick fog had not yet descended. An evolver was equivalent to a top-level combat force. Among the approximately 1,000 survivors, there were only 3 evolvers and more than 200 enhancers. According to the proportion, their number of strong people should be considered large. However, This may also be because they have experienced the baptism of zombies before. Many people who are not strong enough or unlucky have become food for zombies, or companions. In this way, under the leadership of Qiu Jian, this group of survivors actually wiped out all the zombies. When the zombies were really wiped out, Qiu Jian had already fainted due to physical exhaustion and scars on his body. Those survivors did not give up Qiu Jian, because there were evolvers among them, so they understood that although all the scars on Qiu Jian's body were caused by zombies, Qiu Jian was not in danger of zombie transformation, and he was just exhausted. As long as he rested well, Qiu Jian would be able to be full of energy again in a few days. Moreover, the survivors seemed to be somewhat afraid of this young man. As evolvers, the three of them did not dare to rush into the zombies alone like Qiu Jian did. That was simply courting death. What they did not know was that Qiu Jian had originally been courting death by rushing in, but he was unlucky and did not fulfill his wish. 3 days later, Qiu Jian woke up. After waking up, Qiu Jian ignored the survivors' requests to stay, but insisted on leaving them and started his journey alone again. Because Qiu Jian had not found his goal to survive, he must find it, otherwise, he would just die. In Qiu Jian's view, perhaps death would be easier than finding that goal. After that, Qiu Jian killed many zombies and saved many people. Of course, he also killed many people. As long as someone bullied women or ate human flesh, as long as Qiu Jian knew it, no matter who this person was, what kind of strength he had, and how many subordinates he had, Qiu Jian had to kill him. Moreover, Qiu Jian's fighting style became more and more crazy. In his moves, there was no blocking, no dodging, only a simple action, that is, stabbing, and the sword was sworn to never return. Regardless of the cost, as long as the result, he drew his sword to kill his enemy, no matter if he was a zombie or a human, or anything else. I just want to destroy you, even if I will follow you to destroy. Because of this, Qiu Jian can easily win even against an evolver, because no one dares to fight as hard as he does. Even if they stand in front of him, they will be destroyed by Qiu Jian's fierce murderous aura and his desperate fighting style. Life is precious, especially when this life is your own. It is even more precious, especially in this dark end of the world. No one wants to struggle so hard in the end of the world, and in the end not die in the mouth of zombies, but be killed by a madman. The brave wins when two sides meet in a narrow road, but when one side is a brave and the other side is a madman, it is estimated that the result will most likely be the victory of the madman. It may be because Qiu Jian, in every battle, holds the belief that he will either destroy the enemy or destroy himself, so when Qiu Jian became an awakener, he actually awakened the destructive attribute. However, Qiu Jian still hadn't found his goal to survive, so although Qiu Jian subconsciously changed his direction to the direction of the Hope Base, he didn't look for Wang Feng after approaching, because Wang Feng said that he should go back to find him after finding the target. It was not until he met Wang Feng again when he was looking for Lin Li that Qiu Jian suddenly realized that the target he had been looking for had already existed. Wang Feng was his target. Although this young man was younger than himself, he understood things better than himself. And Wang Feng also helped him. If it weren't for that potion, he would not have been able to become an evolver, so he would have died long ago, even including his girlfriend. Originally, Wang Feng was also able to save her, but his girlfriend didn't wait until that time. Repaying a favor. Isn't it the goal to survive? So, Qiu Jian seemed to have caught a ray of light in the darkness. He knew that he could just stay with Wang Feng. As for what to do and how to do it, Wang Feng would naturally tell him. So he stayed in the Hope Base, and was later selected by Wang Feng to become one of the few members of the Special Operations team. He also got another potion, but he didn't ask what the potion was made of or what it did. After drinking it, Qiu Jian knew the function of the potion. It allowed his destructive attribute to devour the enemy's life energy for his own use. Especially after he successfully advanced to the level of a 5th level creature, Qiu Jian discovered that the life energy he devoured could not only strengthen his body and enhance his strength. The most important thing is that he can also restore his physical strength in battle. Physical strength has always been Qiu Jian's shortcoming, but now, this shortcoming seems to have been made up, which has greatly extended his fighting time. Although it has not reached the point of infinity, it is at least much stronger than before. Wang Feng didn't know Qiu Jian's experience, and he didn't want to know. As long as he knew that Qiu Jian was now his own person, that was enough. For the rest, he could say what he wanted to say, and he wouldn't force it if he didn't want to say it. Looking at the direction the hurricane was heading, Wang Feng patted Xiao Wu on the shoulder and asked, "How far are Qingxun and the others from here?" Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 512. Brother Feng, did you see it? Xiao Wu pointed at a city in the distance and shouted excitedly, "Qingxun and the others are right there." "Ha ha. Then what are you waiting for? Let's go at full speed." Wang Feng waved his hand, and now they could only vaguely see the outline of the city. As the saying goes, Wangshan is a horse that runs to death. In fact, the same is true for Wangcheng City. At the current speed, it will take at least an hour to reach that city, even at hurricane speed. It has been several days since they cleared the first city and Qiu Jian was promoted to level 5. During this time, they once again eliminated a large number of zombies and rescued some survivors. But Wang Feng only gave them directions and told them that they could take refuge in the Hope Base. As for sending them back, if they have to send them back every time they find survivors, then they may not be able to reach the city where Qingxun is when the brood arrives, let alone find the human genetics expert. But what made them a little uneasy was that they didn't even see a single devourer along the way. This only meant that it seemed that the devourer commander already knew the strength of their Hope Base, so he sent all the devourers to, all have been recalled. As for where they are hiding now, no one knows. The enemies hiding in the dark are the most dangerous enemies, but Wang Feng has no energy to take care of them now. Anyway, only the Guardian Legion will come out to search for supplies and kill zombies in the Hope Base. Among the 4 brigades of the Guardian Legion, there are 3 squadrons and Instructor Li Yingning on duty respectively. Even if they encounter the Devourer Commander, they will not be unable to deal with them, so Wang Feng does not need to worry too much. Of course, the most ideal thing now is that Wang Feng and the others can meet the Devourer Commander on the road. As long as they kill him, number 7 will have the possibility of promotion again. However, this cannot be forced. If they encounter it, they will naturally not let it go. If you can't find it, you don't have to look for it. It all depends on the luck of number 7. The hurricane rushed towards the city where Qingxun was located. Wang Feng looked at the city in front of him with some emotion in his heart. To be honest, he and Qingxun actually didn't have a deep friendship, and they were even enemies. It's just that the relationship between Qingxun and Qian moved him very much. Being able to treat his lover like this, Qingxun can't be any worse no matter how bad he is. At least, he won't be a crazy person. In particular, after rushing towards the missile at Tianhuo Base, Duanlei and the others were able to come out, which can be attributed to Qingxun and Qian. What happened to Li Tianxiang had already been told to Wang Feng. Especially Wang Feng still wants to know whether Qingxun and Qian have unlocked the seal in their bodies. To be honest, from his own emotional point of view, Wang Feng hopes that the 2 of them have also unlocked the seal. Then their team there will be 2 more powerful boosts. But from a human perspective, Wang Feng does not want Qingxun and Qian to unlock the mysterious seal in their bodies. He thinks that in this way, it is almost certain that only after mutating into zombies can the seal be unlocked. Possible. Wang Feng didn't dare to turn all the people in the Hope Base into zombies, and then bet that they could retain their human consciousness. This was really ridiculous. At this time, Wang Feng could clearly see the zombies in the city, but because the density of zombies was too high, he did not find Qingxun and Qianqian. When he saw the city, Wang Feng knew that there should be no zombies within 100 miles of the city. All the zombies should have been attracted here by the life ball. This was verified on their way here, and every time Wang Feng found a gathering place of zombies, he rushed in with Xiao Wu and Qiu Jian, killed those high-level zombies, and then evacuated immediately. Combat awareness still needs to be cultivated. Qiu Jian can improve his combat power by killing zombies. As for himself, of course he needs to get some apocalypse points. However, Wang Feng did not take away any of those life balls, because there was basically not much life energy in the life balls. They could only emit fluctuations that simulated life energy. For Wang Feng, there was not much significance. However, the members of the Hope base behind them will definitely take the life ball away politely after killing those zombies. No matter if it is useful or not, take it back. At least Dr. Gu Changsheng should be very interested in this thing. Thinking of it before leaving, Wang Feng still couldn't help laughing when he heard the doctor's roar. But Wang Feng soon stopped laughing because he discovered that there seemed to be too many high-level zombies in the city. There were 3,000 to 4,000 corpse witches, hundreds of corpse demons, and 4 Wang Feng. Feng had never seen a zombie before, but it was obviously a zombie with a higher level than the corpse demon. Xiao Wu. What's the name of a zombie that's taller than a zombie? Wang Feng turned around and asked. Corpse General, Xiao Wu nodded and said, there are 2 corpse generals in the city. However, due to the life ball, they will not kill each other. As for the reason, I can't figure it out. Not 2. It's 4, Wang Feng shook his head and said, and then looked at the center of the city. That should be where the life ball is, so all the high-level zombies gathered there, and they moved toward the outside. The level of zombies is lower. 4, Xiao Wu also frowned. Perhaps because they were used to seeing them, no one thought Xiao Wu's image was awkward. At least compared to those mutant zombies, Xiao Wu was relatively handsome. 4 is just right. 1 for each person, number 7 said indifferently. For the devourers, zombies are food. There is nothing to be afraid of. Even humans, if they do not have fire abilities, cannot find any effective way to deal with them. From this point of view, the apocalyptic skyfire launched by the Kali tribe did save mankind. At least, it gave mankind some resistance to the invasion of the devourers. If the devourer army appeared in this world just after the virus spread, the humans with the highest combat power were only enhancers, and they had no ability to resist the devourers at all. Number 7. Don't join in the fun, Wang Feng said bluntly, this thing has no effect on your combat power, so don't waste it. You will follow Xiao Wu to find Qingxun and Qianqian. Qiu Jian and I will be responsible for killing these 4 big guys. Maybe these 4 corpse generals will also be useful to Qingxun and Qianqian. Not maybe. It will definitely be useful, Xiao Wu corrected Wang Feng without hesitation. When I left, they only reached the level of corpse wizards. Even if they are powerful now, it is estimated that the corpse demons will be the best, and there is not much hope for them. As long as they absorb the corpse generals, they will almost certainly be promoted. Is that so? The way of fighting at that time will have to change, Wang Feng pondered. Xiao Wu, Qingxun, Qianqian, these 3 guys with zombie physiques, must need these corpse generals, and even the corpse demons over there are media that they can use to improve their strength. However, Wang Feng had not yet encountered a corpse general, so he did not know its true strength. However, even those hundreds of corpse demons were not so easy to deal with, especially when they still had to hold back and leave these corpse generals to Qingxun and Qianqian. The difficulty was undoubtedly greater. When they were still 1 kilometer away from the outermost zombies of the city, Wang Feng asked Taxus to stop the car, and then looked at Xiao and said, is there any way to contact Qingxun and the others? I'll go now, you wait here, I'll come back and tell you after I find them, Xiao said as he jumped out of the car, and then ran in the direction of the corpse tide. When he was about 200 meters away from the corpse tide, two figures rushed out of the corpse tide, which were Qingxun and Qianqian. Xiao couldn't help but wonder, why Qingxun and Qianqian can now get rid of the temptation of the life ball. But now is not the time to ask this, so he pointed in the direction of Wang Feng and the others and said, "Where are Brother Feng and the others? Let's go." Qi Sun and Qianqian didn't have time to say more, and followed Xiao Wu to run over here. When they arrived here, the three of them jumped onto the roof of the hurricane together. Looking at Wang Feng, Qian Sun said gratefully, "Thank you, Brother Feng." To be honest, at the beginning, he just brought a glimmer of hope and asked Xiao Wu to go to the Hope base for help. In fact, Qian Sun also knew that he didn't have any important identity in the Hope base, and Wang Feng might not come here. Apart from the large number of zombies here, the mysterious people who left the object emitting life energy seemed difficult to deal with, and the Hope base might not take risks for them. But what he didn't expect was that there were actually people coming to the Hope base. Although it seemed that there were not many people, Wang Feng came in person, which made Qian Sun very grateful. He certainly knew Wang Feng's status in the Hope base. "Qi Sun, are you not disturbed by the life ball?" Wang Feng nodded casually, and then asked with some surprise. "Well, after 3 days, we will be able to control our bodies and not be attracted by the fluctuations of life energy. But we didn't leave because we were afraid of the danger outside and we had to wait for Xiao Wu." "Oh. So that's good. Next, let's discuss how to kill all the zombies, especially the 4 zombies. Let you absorb them to enhance your strength," Wang Feng said. Qingxun was stunned, then looked at Wang Feng. Just as he was about to speak, the faces of everyone in the car suddenly changed, because they felt the shaking of the earth at the same time. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 513. Wang Feng looked to his left, because as the earth shook, bursts of roaring came from the distance, and from far to near, they came from the left. When he saw the scene in the distance, Wang Feng's face instantly became extremely solemn. Without thinking, he shouted loudly, "Texas, go back the way you came, quickly." At this time, Xiao Wu and others in the car also looked in the direction of Wang Feng, but what they saw was just a patch of dust from far to near, but the deafening sound in their ears was like thousands of horses galloping. Generally, Tessie didn't know what happened, but of course she carried out Wang Feng's order unconditionally. She immediately drove the hurricane, drew a circle on the road, turned the car around, and sped away towards the way it came. After running a full 5 kilometers, Wang Feng asked Texas to stop the car, then jumped out of the car and ran towards the city where Qingxun and the others were just now. At the same time, he shouted, "You are all waiting for me here, remember? Stay, if there's any danger, just drive away. Don't worry about me, go back to Hope Base and tell Duan Lei." Looking at Wang Feng's back, Xiao Wu and others showed a trace of doubt on their faces. Are they careful about mutant beasts? What does it mean? Just now, were those mutant beasts? Qiu Jian's expression suddenly changed and he said in a cold voice. Mutated beasts? With such a huge momentum, how many mutant beasts are needed? Apollo, who had just climbed up to inquire about the situation, said. Although he was in the car, he also felt the vibration of the earth and the roar just now. I don't know, Qiu Jian shook his head. I have been wandering around during this time, and I have not seen a few mutant beasts. Most of them are cats and dogs, but they are very powerful. Even if they are just one, it's very difficult for me to kill them. especially because they are so fast, it's very troublesome to fight them. Just now, if those were mutant beasts, how many were there? A look of fear suddenly appeared in Apollo's eyes. He knew Lin Li, although the Rat King was not very strong and had no actual combat experience, but those rats of his, if they swarm them, they might not even be a match for Wang Feng. Apollo's words caused everyone to fall into silence. Now they can only wait and see what kind of news Wang Feng will bring back later. Wang Feng ran very fast towards the place they had just left. Others could not see clearly what was in the dust just now, but he could see clearly that there were tens of thousands of mutated beasts, overwhelmingly running in their direction. The shock of that scene is absolutely unimaginable unless you see it with your own eyes. The types of mutant beasts are very diverse, including lions, tigers, leopards and bears among beasts, cats, dogs, monkeys, and rabbits as pets, almost all the animals in Wang Feng's impression. Wang Feng feels that the world is now completely out of control. Became extremely crazy. Before the end of the world, who could have imagined that a rabbit could run side by side with a tiger or a lion? A goat is trying to move forward after a leopard? Could it be that these mutated beasts formed an alliance after mutating? Wang Feng knew clearly about the strength of mutant beasts. They were only stronger than zombies but not weaker. He was almost killed by a cat and almost became the food of a big bird. Speaking of which, after the end of the world, the biggest danger Wang Feng encountered was usually from mutant beasts. However, mutant beasts had not appeared much before. Wang Feng thought that they were all used as food by the zombies. After all, they have cleaned up many cities. In these cities, there will be at least a few zoos or aquariums. Aquariums are easy to say. After all, aquatic creatures have difficulty moving after leaving the water, and zombies are rampant. It is estimated that it will be difficult to survive. But those animals were not discovered at all. Now it seems that they were not all eaten by the zombies because they were locked in a cage and unable to escape, as Wang Feng thought. It seems that these animals all fled the city for some reason. It is only now that they have gathered such a powerful force that they come back and start causing trouble with zombies. Of course, Wang Feng does not think that they will be friendly to humans. Wang Feng is really lucky. Fortunately, the instructor asked him to go to Black Dragon Mountain and kill almost all the mutant beasts in Black Dragon Mountain, so that the mutant beasts there would have no chance to develop. Otherwise, if the wave of mutant beasts just now was not appearing here instead at Hope Base, the consequences. Wang Feng couldn't help but shudder. He was almost sure that if these mutant beasts appeared directly in the Hope Base, then the Hope Base would suffer heavy losses, at least 2/3 of the population would be lost. In that case, the human heritage is really going to be extinct. But fortunately now, the mutant beasts on Black Dragon Mountain have basically been killed and injured. As for the mutant beasts outside, it is difficult for these guys to cross the chasm with the Black Dragon Bridge. In other words, Hope Base should not be affected by it for the time being. The threat of mutant beasts. Wang Feng was thinking as he moved forward. After avoiding this wave of mutant beasts, Wang Feng suddenly remembered that the direction of these mutant beasts was exactly the city where Qingxun and the others were. He must take a look at the battle between mutant beasts and zombies. At least, he must first find out the strength of these mutant beasts before making plans. Zombies, mutant insects, devourers, and now large groups of mutant beasts have appeared. The future of mankind is really not very optimistic. Because they ran far away before and the mutant beasts were quite fast, when Wang Feng came back, the mutant beasts had already collided head-on with the zombie tide. With the help of his sky eye, Wang Feng clearly saw thousands of mutant beasts running rampant in the zombie tide. No matter what level of zombies, they seemed to be vulnerable in front of the mutant beasts. Of course, this was also because high-level zombies seemed to be vulnerable to the mutant beasts. The zombies are concentrated in the center of the zombie tide, while the mutant beasts are now only attacking the periphery of the zombie tide. These enhanced zombies and mutant zombies were vulnerable to mutant beasts. However, the mutant beasts seemed to have a certain degree of wisdom, or animal instinct. They did not directly attack the central area of the zombie tide. They just kept preying on the zombies in front of them on the periphery. These mutant beasts have a very good appetite. After knocking down the zombies, they are not only interested in the zombie heads with the enhanced fluid, but also the zombie corpses, which they eat cleanly, even a bone. None will be left. Wang Feng lay in the distance, quietly watching this feast of mutant beasts, although the ones fighting the mutant beasts now were all enhanced zombies and mutant zombies, and even the mutant zombie king had not yet joined the battle. But Wang Feng keenly discovered that no matter what kind they were, their skins were quite tough. The mutant zombies' sharp claws couldn't even tear apart their fur when they grabbed them. Moreover, the bodies of these mutant beasts are quite flexible and their movements are also very fast. Wang Feng is now looking at a huge elephant, like an ancient mammoth, running rampant among the corpses. Its long trunk volume, a mutated zombie was thrown directly into its mouth, and then disappeared. There are also some orangutans, wolves, tigers, bears, leopards and other beasts that are also killing these zombies crazily, but these mutant beasts don't seem to like wasting food, so they usually eat up one of them. Go kill the next one. But despite this, their killing speed is also very fast. A large area of the territory outside the zombie wave has been cleared. In just 10 minutes, at least 100,000 zombies have become food for these mutant beasts. They ate it into their stomachs. The chaos on the periphery certainly attracted the attention of the high-level zombies in the center of the zombie tide. However, perhaps it was because the hundreds of thousands of zombies killed by these mutated beasts were not enough for the total number of zombies, or maybe because the attraction of the life ball was too great, those high-level zombies just looked at this from a distance and did not take any action. The carnival feast of mutant beasts has been going on. Some of the smaller animals, perhaps because they were full, stopped killing, but lay down lazily, licking their own hair and looking at the surroundings. The same kind continues to kill zombies. Seeing this situation, Wang Feng understood that maybe the war between these mutant beasts and zombies could not be completed in a short time, so after continuing to observe for a while, Wang Feng secretly returned to the hurricane. Now, go back to Hope Base immediately, tell Lazy Eye about the situation, and ask them to be careful to place patrol posts farther away when they go out to sweep, and be careful to guard against attacks from mutant beasts. Wang Feng first described what he saw in detail, and then said seriously. The destructive power of these mutated beasts even exceeds that of zombies, so we must not take it lightly. If Y encounters them unprepared, it is very likely that the entire army will be annihilated. In addition, let Lazy Eye send a guard army to sweep up the Black Dragon Mountain again. The safety around the Hope Base must be ensured, and the guards at Jianguan Town must also be arranged. Although the sea creatures are affected by the thick fog, the impact may be smaller, but we still have to prevent it. Understood. We'll go back right away, Qiu Jian nodded. Well. After you go back and report the situation here, come back to me. I think those mutant beasts will not leave easily before killing all the zombies here. Also, tell Lazy Eye. Before clearing out those zombies, after the zombies in the city, don't bring all the life balls back to the Hope Base. Except for those needed for research, just leave the rest in the towns or cities on the Black Dragon Bridge side. Wang Feng warned again, although he didn't know whether mutant beasts would be interested in the life ball, but after all, there is nothing wrong with being careful. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 514. Wang Feng thought about it carefully again, and after finding that there was nothing to remind him, he waved his hand to signal them to leave. Wang Feng did not leave anyone on his side, because it was useless to stay, and he did not intend to participate in the battle. He just wanted to see the process of the mutant beasts fighting the zombies. One reason was that Wang Feng wanted to find out the strength of the mutant beasts, and the other was that Wang Feng also had the idea of taking advantage of the situation. With his speed, there were no flying mutant beasts such as birds among those mutant beasts, so even if an accident occurred and he was discovered by the mutant beasts, he would have a certain degree of confidence to escape. In fact, even if there were flying mutant beasts, Wang Feng did not need to worry too much. Don't forget that his best weapon was the bow and arrow. For birds, long-range weapons such as bows and arrows are the most deadly. In addition to Wang Feng's ice ability, Wang Feng did not need to worry too much against such mutant beasts. Watching the hurricane gradually fade away, Wang Feng returned to the position he had just observed. At this time, most of the mutant beasts had begun to rest. Only the dozen elephants that were as big as giant mammoths were still running around excitedly and continuing their delicious meals. In addition to the elephants, even the mutant beasts such as lions, tigers, leopards, and bears began to rest one after another, as if they needed a certain amount of rest after eating. More than 10 minutes later, the elephants seemed to have finally filled their stomachs and stopped killing. At this time, there was already a big gap in the zombie tide. At least more than 300,000 zombies died in this mutant beast feast. Looking at the situation in front of him, Wang Feng couldn't help but feel a little impatient. The number of zombies in this city, if these mutant beasts eat like this, they may have to eat for a long time before they can really start to collide with those high-level zombies. Now, for Wang Feng, the most precious thing is time. Seeing that the current situation seemed to last for a while, Wang Feng quietly left again and ran towards the nearest city, where there were zombies gathered, and of course there were life balls. Wang Feng's plan was to take out the life ball, bring it here, and throw it into the mutant beasts to see if it could trigger a war between the mutant beasts and the zombies. As for the life ball in the city, Wang Feng did not have the courage to take it for the time being. After all, the 4 corpse generals and hundreds of corpse demons were not for show. If something went wrong, he might not be able to get out. When passing by a small town, Wang Feng found a car that could still start in the town, and then drove the car towards his goal. After arriving at the city, Wang Feng parked the car on the periphery and then rushed into the city center. Because he had never thought about taking the life ball before, Wang Feng did not know what the life ball was. This time, when Wang Feng rushed into the center of the zombie group, he finally saw the so-called life ball. This thing was not small, with a diameter of 2.5 meters. Fortunately, Wang Feng had the apocalypse space, otherwise, it would be a big project to take this behemoth out of the zombie group. Since this zombie group has been cleaned up, the highest level zombies now are just the alienated zombie kings, and there are not many of them. They are the fish that escaped the net by luck during the last cleanup. As for the other mutant zombie kings, these zombies that could pose a certain threat to Wang Feng before, are no longer taken seriously by Wang Feng. After killing a bunch of high-level zombies in the center and clearing a space, Wang Feng began to prepare to take out the life balls placed here. This life ball was placed in a building, and it was in the basement. The exit was tightly sealed, so the zombies could not destroy it and take out the life ball. But for Wang Feng, it was not even a trouble. He took out the apocalypse, opened a gap, and then drilled directly into it, and then put the life ball directly into the apocalypse space. Without the attraction of the life ball, the zombies around seemed a little irritable. Obviously, they were very dissatisfied with the sudden mysterious disappearance of the item containing life energy that they had guarded for a long time but had never obtained. But Wang Feng certainly didn't care about these. After drilling out of the gap again, Wang Feng did not stop at all and ran in the direction of his parking. Although he knew that these zombies would scatter because of the disappearance of the life ball, they would not pose a threat to anyone in the Hope base anyway, so Wang Feng was too lazy to care about them. Back in the car, driving the car, Wang Feng soon returned to the city where the mutant beasts gathered again. At this time, the mutant beasts were still quietly gathering together to rest. Seeing all kinds of animals gathered together without any harm, Wang Feng felt a little awkward no matter what, but he immediately began to worry, how should he put this life ball among these mutant beasts? Now the life ball is in the apocalypse space, so the life energy it emits will not be felt by any creature, but as long as he takes it out, it will probably become the target of all creatures here in an instant, whether it is a zombie or a mutant beast. Looking at the mutant beasts in the distance, Wang Feng sighed, mainly because the size of this life ball is too large. If it is smaller, he can get closer and throw it directly. After thinking for a long time, Wang Feng finally came up with an idea. He got out of the car, summoned Apocalypse, removed the roof of the car, and nodded with satisfaction after comparing the size. Then, Wang Feng cut a little iron sheet to fix the accelerator and steering wheel, and then got into the car again, driving the car and rushed towards the group of mutant beasts. When there were still 40 or 50 meters away from the mutant beasts, Wang Feng quickly used the prepared iron sheet to hold the accelerator, and then fixed the steering wheel, and then rushed down from the top of the car. At the moment of leaving the car, Wang Feng released the life ball from the apocalypse space, left it in the car, and then started the gust of wind and left here quickly. Before, when Wang Feng just approached, although these mutant beasts noticed the vehicle driven by Wang Feng, they did not have any big reaction, and did not seem to think that this broken car was dangerous. But when the life ball was released, all the mutant beasts stood up and looked at the car that was roaring towards them. Now in the eyes of these mutants, this car is a powerful monster, because the life energy fluctuations it exudes are very strong, and even the zombies around are looking at this side, and they are ready to move. Because Wang Feng pushed the accelerator to the bottom, and the original distance was not very far, so when the mutants were still vigilantly staring at the car had already crashed into the mutant herd. The mutant herd was in chaos, and there was a scene of chickens and dogs flying and jumping. No mutant dared to block the front of the car directly, because they felt the huge life energy in the car, and out of animal instinct, they were more vigilant. Of course, the car would not have any concerns. Anyway, as long as there was fuel, it would keep rushing. Because the mutant herd avoided, the car actually passed through the mutant herd and crashed directly into the zombie tide. Zombies are not mutants. They don't have the habit of giving way to powerful creatures, unless they are zombies that are higher than them. The car will never be regarded as the same kind by the zombies, so the life energy it emits becomes the best food in the eyes of the zombies. Bang! Due to the huge momentum of the car, it rushed more than 10 meters into the zombie herd before being blocked by the dense zombie tide. The life ball on the car was not fixed, so due to the huge momentum, the moment the car stopped, it was thrown high and flew towards the center of the zombie tide. Wang Feng, who was far away, was stunned. He had never thought that this operation would be so smooth. He originally thought that it would be enough to send a life ball to the mutant herd, and maybe it would attract the zombies to fight for it. At that time, when the high-level zombies and mutant beasts confronted each other, Wang Feng could have a good look at the strength of those mutant beasts. Who knew that due to the vigilant nature of animals, they did not stop the car, but let it pass through the herd directly, and because of the huge inertia, they threw the life ball into the depths of the corpse tide. Although the area of the corpse tide was too large, the life ball could not fly to the real center of the corpse tide, but even so, for Wang Feng, it was already an unexpected surprise. After the life ball was thrown, the mutant beasts seemed to understand that it was not the roaring monster that emitted the energy fluctuation, but the big ball, so they rushed towards the direction of the life ball. After the life ball was thrown, the high-level zombies in the corpse tide also rushed towards the life ball immediately, including the 4 corpse generals and almost all the high-level zombies. After being attracted by the life ball for such a long time, the zombies in the corpse tide are of course very familiar with the energy fluctuations of the life ball. Now seeing one appear in front of them, they will certainly not let it go. The mutant beasts have also rushed into the corpse tide at this time, but this time they will still kill or knock away the zombies that block the way, but they did not eat them directly like before. Their target is only the ball. Since the distance between the two sides is similar, the high-level zombies and the mutant beast army approached each other at a very fast speed, and then the two torrents collided heavily. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 515. The main force of the mutant beasts were naturally the giant elephants. The elephants were over 8 meters tall, and the ground shook when they walked. No zombies could resist their footsteps. The zombies, which were over 3 meters tall, had no advantage in front of the giant elephants. The two thick and sharp tusks were their most terrifying weapons, and their long noses were not just for show. Even corpse wizards would be rolled up by their long noses when attacking these giant elephants, and then thrown into their mouths and disappeared. These giant elephants did not charge together, but were separated. Beside the giant elephants, there were a large number of other mutant beasts. When they collided with the corpse wizards, corpse demons, and corpse generals, the scene became quite chaotic. Zombies were constantly thrown away, and mutant beasts were constantly torn apart. Wang Feng, who was standing by, saw clearly that the mutant beasts with the greatest casualties were those of small size. It seems that after they became mutants, their main strength was speed. Although their bodies became much tougher, the extent was not as great as those of large animals. When facing mutant zombies, there was not much difference, but once zombies above the level of corpse wizards joined the battle, their disadvantages became apparent. Because the two sides collided directly with each other, and whether it was zombies or mutants, their formation seemed to be relatively dense, so the speed advantage of small mutants could not be reflected at all, because wherever they pounced, there would always be a group of zombies around. The combat power of both sides seemed to be that mutants had the advantage, but the advantage of zombies was their large number, and for zombies, there was no such thing as fear of death, and mutants would always retreat when facing danger because of their biological instincts. So soon, those mutants were surrounded by the zombie tide, but because of the presence of those giant elephants, the zombies' encirclement was not so tight, and any giant elephant could easily rush into the zombie group, and no zombie could stop these thick-skinned behemoths. Even corpse demons, when facing giant elephants, must be careful not to be rolled up by their trunks. Of course, being stabbed by their long tusks is definitely not a fun thing. Among the mutant beasts, there are many smarter ones. They did not rush into the zombie group, but followed the giant elephants, using the impact of the giant elephants to continuously slaughter zombies. And the 4 corpse generals did not participate in the direct battle. Their target was the life ball. However, the largest one among the giant elephants rushed into the zombie group and went straight to the direction of the life ball. The zombies on the way were thrown to the ground, and many were directly trampled into meat paste by the giant elephant. Because there was no strong obstruction at all, the giant elephant quickly reached the place where the life ball fell, and then swung its long trunk and rolled up the life ball. For Wang Feng, this life ball might be a little big, but in front of the giant elephant, it was just like a normal adult holding a football. Seeing that the giant elephant got the life ball, the 4 zombies also began to get anxious. They roared to the sky at the same time. With their roars, all the high-level zombies nearby, especially the zombie demons and zombie witches, swarmed towards the giant elephant. Then, the 4 zombies also pounced on it at the same time, grabbing the giant elephant's huge head with their claws. Because the trunk had to roll up the life ball, the giant elephant's current weapon was only the 2 long tusks, but the flexibility of these 2 tusks was obviously much lower than its long trunk. Almost in an instant, the giant elephant was overwhelmed by the zombies pouring in from all directions, and the small mutant beasts that had been around it were also unlucky with the giant elephant. Since they were targeted by high-level zombies this time, these mutant beasts, although they tried their best to kill these zombies, were still decreasing rapidly, even though for every mutant beast that died, there would be dozens or even corpse witches buried with them, and occasionally there would be corpse demons, which were high-level zombies second only to corpse generals, that died. However, the number of mutant beasts was not proportional to the zombies after all, so soon, the largest giant elephant was the only mutant beast left in the battle circle. And because they were surrounded by zombies and lost many of their companions, these mutant beasts no longer had the leisure they had before, and they were no longer able to hug each other like before, and began to look a little panicked. Although the life ball was also attractive to them, for animals, food was certainly important, but when they clearly felt danger, they would give up food and run for their lives instead. Seeing that the largest elephant had been submerged by countless zombies, the other elephants began to flee in all directions, and the direction they fled was naturally the direction they came from. Even mutants could see that only in this direction, the encirclement of zombies seemed a little smaller. Perhaps it felt the departure of its companions. The submerged elephant suddenly let out a long roar, and then used all its strength to throw the life ball rolled on its nose out, in the direction of its own kind. I don't know whether this giant elephant wanted to divert the zombies on his body, or to leave this thing that he felt would bring great benefits to his own kind, or he just threw it randomly, but the direction happened to be that way. In short, this giant elephant didn't want to keep this life ball. Seeing the life ball flying, the two giant elephants that were closer didn't hesitate at all, and stretched out their noses directly, and rolled towards the life ball at the same time. The winner who finally won the life ball didn't hesitate at all, and continued to run forward. The other giant elephant that didn't grab it didn't fight again, but just ran behind the winner. Maybe because of the attraction of the life ball, the other giant elephants that were running around slowly moved closer to the giant elephant holding the life ball, and the mutant beasts behind them naturally followed together. The whole group of mutant beasts gathered together again and ran in the direction they came from, but at this time, the mutant beast group had shrunk a lot compared to the time before, and even the giant elephant was trapped in the tide of corpses. Of course, the loss of the zombies was greater than that of the mutants, especially the chaos after Wang Feng threw the life ball into the zombies. That period of time was not long, perhaps less than 10 minutes, but the loss of the zombies was at least more than 1 million. After all, the mutants did not kill with all their strength before, killing one and eating one, and the zombies around did not rush to them, so although the time before was long, not many zombies were actually killed, and the chaotic period later was different. Later, due to the influence of the life ball, both the mutants and the zombies seemed a little crazy, although the mutants seemed to feel the danger later and planned to give up the life ball and escape from here. But the zombies did not intend to let them go, and surrounded them tightly, and did not give way, so that these mutants, under the threat of life, started a crazy killing, which led to the huge loss of the zombies. Although more than 1 million zombies are still insignificant to the entire zombie tide, this is only for low-level zombies. In the short 10 minutes just now, nearly half of the high-level zombies in the entire zombie tide died. Even the top zombie generals, now only 2 are left, and one of the other 2 is hung on the tusks of the largest elephant, and the last one is nowhere to be seen, perhaps trampled into meat paste by the elephant. It can be said that if these mutant beasts do not choose to escape, but fight with these elephants, maybe this mutant beast group has the ability to completely destroy this zombie group, but the life ball is not attractive enough to these mutant beasts, so this result that Wang Feng is looking forward to did not appear. After throwing the life ball, the surrounded giant elephant seemed to have exhausted its strength and fell down with a bang, even the ground under it was shaken, but the remaining 2 zombies did not continue to kill the giant elephant completely, but took all the zombies around them and chased after the life ball. Obviously, for zombies, the life ball is the most important. Although this giant elephant also has a huge amount of life energy and life source in its body, for zombies, this is far less beneficial than the life ball. The mutant beasts didn't care whether the zombies chased them or not. Anyway, they were ready to leave. After all, they were animals. When they didn't suffer losses just now, they could rest leisurely next to the zombies. But now they have known that these zombies don't seem to be as easy to deal with as they imagined. It seems that the outside world is still dangerous, so it is safer to return to their own nests. Under the command of the corpse general, the zombies chased the mutant beasts closely, not even caring about the life ball behind them. In just a few minutes, not only did all the mutant beasts run away, but even the huge corpse tide was missing more than half of the zombies. Especially the high-level zombies, almost all of them followed the corpse general to leave. Wang Feng looked at the zombies left, and there were not even a few mutant zombie kings. Basically, all of them were mutant zombies and enhanced zombies. This result was unexpected by Wang Feng, but now Wang Feng had no way to change it. Looking at the corpse tide left, and then looking at the zombies and mutant beasts going away, Wang Feng shook his head and smiled bitterly. This ending in front of him was considered average, not good or bad, but when he looked at the city again, Wang Feng suddenly had an idea and rushed forward. His target was the giant elephant lying in the corpse herd. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 516. Although there are still hundreds of millions of zombies left behind, the tallest one is the mutated zombie king. For Wang Feng, this is no threat at all, but the corpse of this giant elephant must have sufficient life energy in its body. It must not be wasted. Besides, after such a long period of consumption, Wang Feng didn't have much mutant beast meat left. Let's see if he could find some other relatively complete mutant beast corpses besides the giant elephant's corpse. Although these mutated beasts were killed by zombies, Wang Feng didn't care. Let alone mutated beasts, they shouldn't be infected by the zombie virus. Even if they were, they wouldn't be able to infect Wang Feng. Thinking of this, Wang Feng's speed became even faster. He quickly came to the giant elephant, killed all the zombies still surrounding it, and then put his hand on the giant elephant's body, trying to collect it to the apocalypse space. But what surprised Wang Feng was that he failed to successfully put away this huge corpse. Isn't this supposed to be the case? After absorbing the hull of the spaceship, apocalypse space has expanded a lot, more than 3 times its previous size. Although this giant elephant is huge, it is still extremely easy to install it in apocalypse space. Wang Feng quickly went around to take a look at the giant elephant's head, and found that just as he expected, the giant elephant's vitality was quite tenacious. Although it was attacked by a large group of high-level zombies, its whole body was covered with scars, and even its eyes were penetrated. One is blind, but it is still not dead. Looking at the dying giant elephant, Wang Feng hesitated, but he finally asked Tiankai, "Apocalypse, can you communicate with this big guy?" In Wang Feng's view, even big trees and Tiankai can communicate with each other. It dialogues with elephants should be less of a problem. Of course, Apocalypse's answer did not disappoint Wang Feng. "Do you want me to tell it, let's save it, and then let it obey our orders in the future?" "Can we save it?" Wang Feng frowned and asked. "The price is not small, right? Can we save it?" "What's the price?" "For others, it's indeed not small, but for you, it's very easy," Tiankai said. "This giant elephant has reached the level of a 6th level creature, and is one of the mutant beasts just now. The most powerful among them. It's just that it was attacked by those high-level zombies just now, and it was too big to avoid. Therefore, too much of the life source in the body was lost, which led to its current situation. But even now, if those high-level zombies don't come back, if you give it enough time, it can still stand up again. It's not that easy to kill such a huge 6th level creature. Should we just replenish it with some life essence now?" Wang Feng breathed a sigh of relief when he heard Tiankai's words. What he was most afraid of was that he needed to use his life core to save this elephant. Such a huge elephant, your body will definitely need a lot of life cores, and it will definitely cause irrecoverable losses to your life cores. In that case, maybe Wang Feng would not choose to save this elephant. Although if this elephant can be conquered, it will definitely be a powerful fighting force, but if the life core is used as the price, it will not be worth the gain. But if it is the origin of life, then there is no problem. The core of life itself can convert life energy into the origin of life. Therefore, Wang Feng will definitely not be lacking the origin of life. Thinking of this, Wang Feng said to Tiankai in his heart, "Apocalypse, synthesize the medicine immediately to save this animal for elephants, the faster the better." Wang Feng didn't know when those mutated beasts and zombies would come back, so of course he had to do it as soon as possible. "No matter how fast it is, it will still take 2 days, Tiankai said. "Ah, so long," Wang Feng was stunned. "Didn't you just say that if you give it enough time, it can stand up on its own? Why does it take so long for us to save it now?" "Yes. What I said is that there is enough time. If we don't take action and let it recover on its own, it will take at least more than a month to 2 months to recover." Tiankai's answer made Wang Feng some surprises. You know, the larger the creature, the harder it is to kill, but similarly, the slower it recovers, especially since this elephant has lost a lot of its life source, it needs to slowly recover first. The source of life can only be used to restore the body when the source of life reaches a certain concentration. The 2 days I'm talking about are just the time for it to recover its body. As for the source of life, it doesn't need to recover by itself. We just need to replenish it. Moreover, it will also make the source of life in its body reach a very high concentration. Maybe this lucky guy can reach the level of a 7th level creature in one fell swoop. Okay. Then synthesize the potion right away, Wang Feng said quickly, and then his figure flashed out again, turning in a large circle on the previously chaotic battlefield. This circle really made him got quite a surprise. Wang Feng collected more than 2,000 relatively complete mutant beasts alone, some big and small. Of course, the small ones mentioned here are the smallest mutant beasts such as goats. As for cats and dogs, Wang Feng didn't collect them. He didn't intend to treat these pre-apocalyptic pets as food. After entering the zombie herd, the herd of tens of thousands of mutant beasts lost nearly half of their number when they left. At least 4,000 mutant beasts died in the zombie tide, but many of their bodies were torn to pieces or eaten directly by zombies, so Wang Feng was left with only these 2,000. But this was not Wang Feng's only gain. Don't forget that although the loss of these mutant beasts was not small, the loss of zombies was even more severe than that of mutant beasts. So after this round, Wang Feng gained a lot of apocalypse points, and because apocalypse can now absorb life energy remotely, Wang Feng only absorbed the life energy of these zombies while collecting the bodies of mutant beasts. It can be said that it was like picking them up for free. After turning the battlefield aside and confirming that nothing was left out, Wang Feng returned to the elephant again. In fact, the elephant had the most high-level zombies, with hundreds of zombies and nearly 1,000 zombies dying beside it. However, Wang Feng did not absorb these high-level zombies because he knew that these zombies should be useful to Qingxuan, Qianqian and Xiaowu. Anyway, the zombies have not come back yet, and the zombies left here are not a threat to Wang Feng, especially now that the zombie tide has decreased. The remaining zombies are all around the life ball in the center of the city, and they don't pay any attention to Wang Feng, so Wang Feng is not in a hurry. At this time, a potion appeared in Wang Feng's hand. Wang Feng picked up the small bottle of potion, which was about the same size as the previous awakening potion, and looked at it again and again in front of him. He asked a little worriedly, "Tiankai, such a big elephant, just use such a small bottle? Didn't you say that it needs a lot of life essence?" "Alas. I'm talking about the concentration, who said the quantity?" Tiankai sighed, expressing his concern for Wang Feng's IQ. According to what you said, the life essence needed by this elephant should probably be enough to fill its body. You are not even as big as its nose, so it's not enough to fill you in, right? The despised Wang Feng couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed, and asked again, how to give it to it? Just pour it on its wound, any wound, Tian Kai replied. This is easy. The elephant is now covered with wounds. The most serious one even has its internal organs exposed. However, Wang Feng thought about it and decided to pour the potion into its blind eye. In this way, perhaps its eyes can recover the fastest. However, before taking action, Wang Feng was still quite cautious. He was afraid that if he went forward, the elephant, which was not dead yet, would misunderstand him and think that he was attacking it, which would be bad. So Wang Feng said to Tian Kai, Tian Kai, tell this big guy that I want to help it and ask it not to attack me. Shouldn't I negotiate the conditions with it first? Tian Kai was a little surprised. No need, Wang Feng thought for a while and said, it's an animal. Although I don't want to admit it, generally speaking, animals know how to be grateful more than humans. At least I saved it, and it will never hurt me. As for the rest, we'll talk about it later. Okay. It's up to you, Tian Kai said no more, and turned to communicate with the elephant. Because the elephant was lying on the ground, only one eye was exposed, and that eye happened to be scratched by the zombies and lost its vision, so it couldn't see Wang Feng now. But after Tian Kai communicated with it, the elephant sent out a life wave representing gratitude, and also shook its big ear to show its friendliness. Wang Feng then jumped onto the elephant's head with confidence. Since the elephant was so big, standing on the ground, Wang Feng could not reach its eyes at all. After coming up, Wang Feng did not use the potion immediately, but first took off the corpse hanging on the elephant's tusks and threw it on the ground, then opened the bottle of potion, and then gently poured the potion into the elephant's eye sockets. At the moment when the potion was poured into the elephant's eye sockets, the elephant's body suddenly shook, but immediately calmed down, and then his ears swayed a few times again. Obviously, this elephant already knew that what Wang Feng gave it was definitely a good thing. Wang Feng squatted down, patted the elephant's head gently, and then jumped down and came to the side of the corpse he had just thrown down. When Wang Feng came to his side, this corpse, which seemed to be dead, suddenly jumped up, and then grabbed Wang Feng's head with one claw. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 517. Wang Feng was well prepared, because when he took off the corpse, he intended to put it into the apocalypse space, but he failed, just like when he took the elephant, because the elephant was not dead, so he could not take it in. The apocalypse space is not completely unable to take in objects with vitality, but the vitality is too strong, and the apocalypse space cannot bear it, so Wang Feng certainly knows that this corpse is not dead. However, because Wang Feng was eager to treat the elephant at that time, he had no time to care about it, and it was still on the elephant. If the two started fighting at that time, it might cause misunderstandings to the elephant. So at the beginning, Wang Feng just threw the corpse down and ignored it. According to Wang Feng's understanding, once it was thrown to the ground, the corpse should immediately run for its life, but Wang Feng didn't care. He felt that with the life ball, even if the corpse ran away, it should run to the center of the city, among his subordinates. It just so happens that the elephant needs more than 2 days to fully recover. As for Xiao Wu and the others, they should be back later. I still have a lot of free time, so I just took this opportunity to test the strength of this corpse general. Speaking of which, Wang Feng has never fought against a corpse general. He originally planned to go up and fight these zombies, but because of the appearance of these mutants, Wang Feng's plan was disrupted. Now that a corpse general is left behind, Wang Feng can roughly understand the strength of this guy. After discovering that the corpse general did not run away after being thrown on the ground, Wang Feng was surprised, but he did not care. It is better to stay, so that he can fight the corpse general alone, and he will be more confident. The only concern is that the corpse general will summon the zombies in the distance at that time, which may affect the recovery of the elephant. However, thinking about the elephant's thick skin and flesh, Wang Feng let it go. At most, he can quickly resolve the battle by himself. As the corpse general's claws grabbed at him, Wang Feng's eyes of heaven clearly saw that the corpse general's weak points were in its head and chest. Although he didn't understand why there were two places, as long as he knew the weaknesses, it would be easy to attack. Tian Kai suddenly swung out, and at the same time, Wang Feng also instantly launched a gust of wind. His body was like lightning, passing through the gap between the corpse general's claws. While passing through the claws, Tian Kai passed by the corpse general's neck, and a huge head soared into the sky. However, the corpse general did not fall into death because his head was chopped off. Instead, he jumped up. His body of more than 3 meters tall did not seem bulky at all. His claws grabbed Wang Feng's legs from below again. Wang Feng did a somersault in the air and suddenly became upside down. He held Tian Kai with both hands and chopped down at the corpse general's claws. Clang! The sound of metal clashing rang out, and the claws of Apocalypse and the corpse general collided with each other, and a string of sparks burst out. Wang Feng used this force to flip his body backwards. The corpse general was smashed directly to the ground by Wang Feng's chopping force. As soon as his feet touched the ground, the corpse general made an unexpected move for Wang Feng. He turned around and pounced directly on the elephant. Wang Feng was shocked. From the collision between the claws of Apocalypse and the corpse general, it can be known that the claws of the corpse general are definitely not something that the elephant's skin can defend against. Moreover, the criss-crossing wounds on the elephant's body have long proved this point. Wang Feng remained calm in the face of danger. Although he was in the air and could not quickly support the elephant, the fact that he could not reach the elephant did not mean that Wang Feng had no other way. The Apocalypse blade in his hand instantly turned into the Apocalypse bow, and then 4 arrows with frost feathers flew out of the bow and shot at the corpse general who was rushing towards the elephant. Although the headless corpse general could not see the arrows, he could sense the energy fluctuations around him. It happened that these 4 feather arrows all carried frost energy, so the corpse general suddenly paused his body and tried to let the 4 feather arrows pass. In his perception, the 4 energy fluctuations attacking him should be shot in front of him. If he did not dodge and continued to rush towards the elephant, he would be hit by the 4 energies, but he stopped, so he could let the 4 energy attacks pass. In his perception, Wang Feng was still flying backwards at this time. Even if he paused and rushed forward again, Wang Feng could not stop him from killing the elephant first and devouring the energy in its body. Seeing the corpse general's actions, Wang Feng, whose body was still in the air, couldn't help but sneer. Then, a white light flashed in his eyes, and the 4 feather arrows flying in the air suddenly changed their direction of travel strangely. Although the adjustment angle was not large, they just shot at the corpse general's limbs. The corpse general never expected that such a situation would happen. Before it had time to think about this strange situation, the 4 feather arrows had already hit its limbs, and the frost energy instantly spread over its body. At this time, Wang Feng also just landed. At the moment of landing, Wang Feng bounced his feet and shot his body at the corpse general again. At this time, Wang Feng was still within the duration of the gale, and his speed was even faster than the arrows. The corpse general, whose body was covered by frost energy, had no chance to fight back at all. He was immediately slashed by the Apocalypse blade in Wang Feng's hand, which had switched back to its original form, and a series of metal and iron clanging sounds rang out again. Wang Feng was shocked to find that his Apocalypse could not cut the bones of this corpse general. Could it be that all the bones of this corpse general were as hard as its claws? But he had just chopped off the corpse general's head with one knife. It is impossible that its neck bones are the worst defense among all the bones in its body, right? Wang Feng subconsciously looked at the corpse general's neck, and then, Wang Feng seemed to have discovered a clue, and suddenly realized it, and then attacked the corpse general with Apocalypse in his hand again. This time, the corpse general could not block Wang Feng's Apocalypse again. Its limbs were cut off at the root in an instant and fell to the ground. It lost its support and fell down powerlessly. Looking at the corpse general's limbs that were still trying to gather together, Wang Feng smiled lightly, and then Apocalypse continued to pick up all the limbs of the corpse general, making it unable to recover again. Because Xiao Wu had eaten up all the corpse of the corpse demon last time, Wang Feng felt that every part of the corpse general's body should be useful to zombies like them, so he didn't take it to the Apocalypse space. Because the Apocalypse space is still absorbing the space energy from the wreckage of the Devourer spacecraft. If the body of the corpse general is also taken in, the life energy inside will also be absorbed by Apocalypse. Wang Feng didn't know whether this would have an impact on Xiao Wu and his absorption, or when he ate the corpse general, so he didn't act rashly. After resolving the battle, Wang Feng was somewhat fortunate that he had fought with this guy. Although this corpse general was definitely not in peak condition, at least he had some understanding of the corpse general. Moreover, Wang Feng's eyes were also on the tusks of the elephant. After testing the toughness of the corpse general's bones, Wang Feng truly understood the sharpness of the elephant's tusks. Although Wang Feng used the blade of Apocalypse to chop the bones of the corpse general, not the sharpest blade tip, but that was Apocalypse. Even Apocalypse could not chop it open, which was enough to prove that the bones of this corpse general were definitely one of the hardest substances in the world. Fortunately, only the bones were hard, and the joints of the bones were still the weakness of this corpse general. However, because this was not the fatal weakness of the corpse general, it was not within the display range of the Sky Eye. Just now, Wang Feng accidentally saw the neck of the corpse general and found that the previous knife just cut through the joint of the two cervical bones, which was why he chopped off the head of this corpse general. After discovering this, the limbs of this corpse general naturally could not be saved. If Wang Feng had not wanted to leave this guy to Xiao or Qingxuan, it would not have survived until now. Turning back to look at the elephant, he found that the elephant was flapping its ears at him, as if to thank him. The elephant's eyes were blind, but it could also feel the energy fluctuations around itself. Of course, it also knew about the battle between Wang Feng and the corpse general, and in its opinion, Wang Feng fought with the corpse general just to protect it, so the elephant's favorability towards Wang Feng was rising sharply. Wang Feng naturally didn't know this, and the elephant was now using the source of life to repair its body. If it emitted energy fluctuations now, it would affect its own repair, so the elephant did not directly transmit the life fluctuations to Wang Feng, but just fanned its big ears to express its gratitude. He stepped forward and gently touched the elephant's nose to show that he saw its gratitude, and then Wang Feng began to circle around the elephant's body. Because Wang Feng remembered that there should be two corpse generals who died on the elephant's side, and there were indeed only two corpse generals who went to chase the mutant beast group, so now he only saw one. Where was the other one? These are all good things, they can't be wasted. However, after turning 3 times, Wang Feng did not find the other corpse general, not even the corpse. Could it be that I was eaten by this guy? Wang Feng thought a little depressed, then raised his head and looked around. Huh? Who is that? Looking at the convoy heading towards here in the distance, Wang Feng frowned and whispered to himself. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 518. Looking at the convoy in the distance, Wang Feng's face was not very good, because the elephant was still recovering, and there was only one person on his side. If these people were not good people, it might be difficult for him to protect the elephant. The direction of this convoy was exactly opposite to the Hope Base, so it was definitely not the people from the Hope Base. In this Doomsday, if they were not our own people, they might be enemies, especially when the opponent had the upper hand. However, this convoy looked like a search team, because in the convoy, except for 2 large buses, the other 7 or 8 vehicles were trucks, and in the front, there was a military jeep with a machine gun mounted on it. Looking back at the elephant, Wang Feng estimated that its skinned body could not withstand the machine gun fire. After thinking carefully, Wang Feng jumped onto the road. He planned to contact these survivors first. If these people gave him a bad impression, he would have to kill them. Although Wang Feng didn't want to kill more people, sometimes, some people had to be killed. This was the reason for Wang Feng's worry. If it weren't for this, if Wang Feng ambushed on the side of the road and suddenly launched an attack, the team might not have reacted and would have been severely damaged. As the vehicle approached, Wang Feng's eyes also saw the person in the cab. After seeing this person, Wang Feng was stunned for a moment, and then he breathed a sigh of relief. This is an acquaintance. Although he can't be called a friend, he is not a vicious person. It's just that Wang Feng and them, the relationship should not be considered close. The man driving the jeep was He Zihao, the strong man under Zhao Ying in Cath City. At the beginning in Cath City, because of Fang Xiaoyun's last words, Zhao Ying challenged Wang Feng to a duel, and finally died in Wang Feng's hands. He Zihao and his friends saw clearly what happened, and they also knew that the whole thing was actually caused by Fang Xiaoyun, so they did not continue to entangle with Wang Feng. However, it might be because Wang Feng took in number 7, and Fang Xiaoyun was killed by number 7 who sucked all her life energy. So these people probably still have a grudge against Wang Feng, and Wang Feng knew it in his heart, so he did not speak to keep these people, but let them leave. Now it seems that they have found a place to settle down and started a new life. Judging from the size of the search team, it seems that they are living quite well now. At least they dare to drive out so many vehicles, which means that the fuel reserves of their camp should be sufficient, because in general camps, people walk or take a bus to travel. After finding resources, they search for vehicles nearby and then drive back to the camp. Although he saw that they were acquaintances, Wang Feng still stood in the middle of the road, quietly waiting for their arrival. At least, he had to test their attitude first. After all, he could not be called a friend with them. Wang Feng saw the other party, and He Zihao and his team also obviously found Wang Feng. Although they did not have a sky eye, they still had a telescope. However, they did not stop the car, but came straight to Wang Feng. However, it was obvious that He Zihao was also wary of Wang Feng. The convoy stopped 1 kilometer away from Wang Feng and began to guard the surroundings. Only the jeep driven by He Zihao continued to move forward. It seems that the original guarding army still made He Zihao a little cautious. Although he himself believed that Wang Feng would not embarrass them, he still maintained a certain degree of vigilance. Even before the end of the world, various alliances or cooperative relationships may be changed before interests, not to mention that now is the end of the world where the law of the jungle prevails, so Wang Feng did not care about He Zihao's actions. The jeep slowly stopped when it came to about 5 meters in front of Wang Feng. He Zihao opened the door and jumped out of the car and came to Wang Feng. Looking at Wang Feng, He Zihao couldn't tell what he felt. He Zihao knew that Wang Feng had killed Zhao Ying. At that time, Zhao Ying was actually seeking death because Fang Xiaoyun's death was too much of a blow to Zhao Ying. He Zihao also knew a little about Zhao Ying's past, so he didn't have any prejudice against Wang Feng. In that situation, death might be more suitable for Zhao Ying, but no matter what, he regarded Zhao Ying as a benefactor in his heart, and he also had some admiration for Zhao Ying. So for Wang Feng, although He Zihao still admired him in his heart, after all, being able to build such a powerful army in this end times is not something that everyone can do, but in his subconscious, He Zihao still had some resistance to Wang Feng and his hope base. He Zihao? Am I remembering correctly? Wang Feng looked at He Zihao, nodded gently and smiled. Yes. That's right, He Zihao also nodded, then looked around. Are you alone? We encountered some special situations, so I asked them to go back and report. Wang Feng did not hide anything and told the truth. Special situation, He Zihao looked at Wang Feng's serious expression and couldn't help frowning. In his impression, Wang Feng's hope base was more powerful than them by more than a little bit. Something that Wang Feng valued so much was probably not a trivial matter. Have you seen mutant beasts? Wang Feng looked at He Zihao and asked. I've seen them. I've killed a lot of them, but they are really powerful and harder to deal with than zombies. Fortunately, there are not many of them, so there is no danger. He Zihao nodded and said, as long as he lives in the apocalypse, especially search teams that go out frequently will more or less encounter some mutant beasts or mutant insects. Not a lot, Wang Feng smiled bitterly, and then he told He Zihao the situation truthfully. Even though he knew that He Zihao would not join the Hope Base, after all, they were also a force belonging to mankind. Wang Feng didn't want to hide it either. Tens of thousands of mutant beasts. He Zihao was shocked and immediately looked around him subconsciously, as if he was afraid that the mutant beast group Wang Feng Gao mentioned would suddenly come back. Look there, Wang Feng pointed to the city. Since you are coming in this direction, you should know how many zombies there are in the city, right? He Zihao looked in the direction pointed by Wang Feng and couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. Wang Feng was right. He had indeed been here before. He originally planned to come to the city to try his luck this time. Can we kill some zombies on the outskirts of the city and transport them back to be used as fertilizer? Not only has the number of zombies been significantly reduced, but the area that was previously used as a battlefield by mutant beasts and zombies is now in a mess. Anyone can see at a glance that a big battle has just occurred here, especially the area that is as big as a hill. The elephant on the ground further proves what Wang Feng just said. After returning to the car, he took out the telescope and observed it. He Zihao finally confirmed that the high-level zombies in the city had indeed left to hunt down the mutant beasts as Wang Feng said. Looking at Wang Feng, He Zihao was hesitant to speak, because the current situation in the city, according to their strength, they should be able to win. So, whether it is the materials left in the city or the zombies, the corpses were of great help to He Zihao and his camp. But after all, Wang Feng was here first, and He Zihao was a little embarrassed to speak. Although Wang Feng was alone, He Zihao was quite clear about the terrifying power behind him. Seeing He Zihao's expression, Wang Feng smiled softly. This city is dispensable to me. If you have the ability to clean it up, then it will be yours. But, those who have died on the battlefield don't move the zombies and the elephant, but you can do whatever you want with the rest. Okay. Thank you, He Zihao nodded to Wang Feng, and then waved his team to come forward and prepare to start work. By the way, let me remind you, it is best to clear out the zombies here as soon as possible while ensuring the safety of your personnel. I am not sure whether those high-level zombies or even mutant beasts will suddenly return, Wang Feng reminded. Road. Yes. Understood. We will be careful, He Zihao nodded. Wang Feng nodded slightly again, then turned and walked towards the elephant. Wang Feng did not want to participate in the battle between He Zihao and the zombies. He only needed to protect the elephant. As for the possibility of appearing among them casualties, if you want to get something, some price must be paid. Head. Why is this guy here? After He Zihao returned to the jeep, a bald man in the back seat asked. He had seen Wang Feng before in Cat City. He and the guardian soldiers were terrified of him. The strength is still fresh in my memory at this moment. It happened to happen, He Zihao replied. Don't worry about it now. Prepare to fight. There are no high-level zombies in this city now. Clean them up as quickly as possible and search for supplies. Those high-level zombies may return at any time, must be as soon as possible. What should we do about that guy? Baldhead asked as he looked at Wang Feng's retreating figure. Apparently, he also thought of the question that He Zihao had just thought of. Haha. People don't pay attention to such a small city at all. Maybe only down and out guys like us who are struggling to survive in the apocalypse will regard the city as a treasure, right? He Zihao looked at Wang Feng. The figure from behind smiled somewhat self-deprecatingly, then stepped on the accelerator hard and rushed towards the zombie wave at the edge of the city. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 519. Wang Feng returned to the elephant, stretched out his hand and touched the elephant gently. Now the elephant could distinguish Wang Feng's life breath. Therefore, although its eyes have not recovered yet, when Wang Feng approached, the elephant still gently wiggled its ears. What makes Wang Feng strange is that, logically speaking, this elephant should have begun to recover from its injuries. Why has there been no movement until now? Even the blind eye socket showed no signs of healing. When Wang Feng asked Apocalypse about his discovery, Apocalypse gave him an explanation that made him a little excited. That is, the elephant is now working hard to integrate the source of life that entered its body with itself. Once fully integrated, this elephant will likely jump straight into level 7. And when it advances, the wounds on its body will naturally heal. Therefore, in Tiankai's view, this elephant is quite good at seizing opportunities, and according to its current favorable impression of Wang Feng, the elephant is likely to stay in the end and become a big help to him. So Wang Feng stopped paying attention to the elephant, casually jumped to the top of a building, and then looked at He Zihao and the others who were laying out their battle plan. Although there are no high-level zombies, the tide of over 100 million zombies here cannot be easily defeated by He Zihao and the others. Therefore, when the battle officially begins, they still need to discuss where to enter and where to break through. And where to slay zombies. After watching them for a while, Wang Feng suddenly felt something in his heart, jumped down again, and then ran towards He Zihao and the others. However, in order not to cause misunderstanding, Wang Feng stopped when he was almost 100 meters away from He Zihao and the others. And then walked towards them slowly. Seeing Wang Feng coming, He Zihao temporarily stopped their discussion and turned to look at Wang Feng. He didn't know what Wang Feng was doing again. Maybe he regretted giving the city to him. Don't be nervous, I have to make a deal with you when I come. Wang Feng smiled and said, you all know that there is strengthening liquid in the zombie's head, right? Of course. If you have anything to say, please speak up. He Zihao looked at Wang Feng and said with a look of surprise and uncertainty. Now he had guessed that Wang Feng's request must be to let them give the strengthening liquid in the corpses of the zombies they killed. In exchange for the city. He Zihao originally knew that there is no free lunch in this world. If Wang Feng really made this request, then he would accept it. After all, the chance of using the strengthening liquid to enhance strength was too low, and there was no high end here. It doesn't matter if they are all zombies, even if they are all given to Wang Feng. You should all have used the strengthening fluid, so I don't need to tell you about the chances of advancement. Wang Feng looked at the people in front of him. There were only more than 500 people following He Zihao this time. He remembered that he had followed He Zihao at the beginning. More than 3,000 people left together with He Zihao. Now it seemed that they had really found a good place to stay. Well, of course we know this. You came to the city first, so if you want the strengthening fluid, no problem. The zombies we kill will collect all the strengthening fluid in a while and give it to you. Just think of it as us exchanging the resources of the city with you. He Zihao gritted his teeth and took the initiative to state the condition. As soon as Wang Feng mentioned the promotion probability of the strengthening liquid, He Zihao decided that his guess was correct. Wang Feng came here for the strengthening liquid. He thought if you want to strengthen the liquid, you must first emphasize the weakness of the strengthening liquid. This will make it easier for him to bargain with himself. However, Although He Zihao took the initiative to state this condition, Wang Feng's image in his heart declined rapidly. It seems that he raised the powerful army through such skill and plunder. He Zihao thought in his heart. You misunderstood. To He Zihao's surprise, Wang Feng did not show any surprise after hearing his words. Instead, he gently shook his head. Hey, you are older than me. I'll just call you brother He. Looking at He Zihao, Wang Feng said seriously, Brother He. This city does not belong to me, and you don't need to exchange it with me for anything. But, speaking of it, I really need these strengthening potions. I have a rather peculiar power that can purify these strengthening liquids. The purified strengthening liquid has a 100% chance of making people advance. Wang Feng's words shocked He Zihao and others, and they started talking about it. However, most people seemed to be skeptical. It's not their fault. The superpower Wang Feng mentioned was indeed it's too perverted. In this apocalyptic world, having such a power is just like cheating. Shut up, He Zihao couldn't help but shouted loudly when he saw his people talking about it. Then he looked at Wang Feng and said in a deep voice, I believe he has this ability. Of course He Zihao believed it, and now he suddenly understood why the thousands of guardian warriors he saw before were all awakened ones. For them, this was simply a miracle. Now hearing Wang Feng's words, He Zihao suddenly realized that if Wang Feng had such magical powers, then their strength would be easier to explain. Besides, there is really no need for Wang Feng to lie to them. He Zihao knows his own worth. Let alone them, even if they bring everyone in their camp, it is not worth hoping that the base will deceive them, because both sides' strength is no longer on the same level at all. The more than 500 of them are already considered the elite in their camp. Among them are 10 awakened ones and the rest are all evolved ones. However, this level of strength is simply not enough to look at in the Hope base. They are lying to us. Do what? What do you mean by this? He Zihao looked at Wang Feng and asked, his eyes seemed a little excited. He already had some guesses, but he was not sure yet. It's nothing. I'm waiting for someone here anyway, and I guess I'll have to wait for 3 or 4 days. Wang Feng looked at the direction of the Hope base and said leisurely. Although you are not members of my Hope base, you are all human beings after all, and we can be considered acquaintances. It just so happens that I am also free and can help you synthesize some awakening potions. If you can kill all the zombies here, I should be able to make everyone here reach the level of awakened. Of course, maybe there will be a few more, just think of it as my wages. Okay, to Wang Feng's expectation, He Zihao readily agreed without any hesitation after hearing Wang Feng's words. Head. Do you really believe that he has that kind of superpower? Isn't that too perverted? Bald Head was the first to ask. Qiangzi, please explain to me why the thousands of people who followed him were all awakened ones. Are they so lucky? Just relying on the little things in the zombies' brains, they can all be promoted. No, He Zihao frowned and asked the Bald Head. They have a lot of people in their base, a large base, and a lot of strong people. The Bald Head still wanted to argue, but halfway through, he couldn't continue. If you have never seen the Guardian Legion, you may be able to say this, but Bald Head has seen the Guardian Legion with your own eyes. The tacit cooperation between those soldiers makes it clear at a glance that this army cannot be improvised. So the previous idea is simply untenable. You know it's wrong yourself, right? He Zihao glared at the Bald Head angrily, then looked at the others and raised his voice and said, I agree with his suggestion. If you don't agree, you don't need the potion. I will never force you. If you want, after killing the zombies, collect the strengthening liquid and give it all to him. Don't be so troublesome. You only need to be responsible for killing. There is no need to collect strengthening liquid. I should do this faster. After hearing He Zihao's words, Wang Feng said quickly, if these more than 500 people are allowed to kill at the same time, The zombies took out the strengthening liquid from their heads, but the efficiency was too slow. Anyway, Apocalypse has the ability to absorb life energy remotely. As long as they kill the zombies, they can just circle around the battlefield. In this way, they can save a lot of time. In fact, there is no benefit to Wang Feng at all from doing this. If he wants to earn Tiankai points, he might as well rush in and kill himself. Wang Feng made the suggestion purely to improve the strength of He Zihao and others. In the future, he can also become a force among mankind. Because he decided to go to other continents to find people, Wang Feng suddenly remembered that he did not necessarily have to bring all the humans he met in the future back to the Hope Base. If the people he met could be cultivated, he might as well give them some awakening potions and then left to their own devices. In this way, the number of humans who can survive will definitely be more. Otherwise, even if the Devourers can be eliminated in the future, even the Black Hand behind them will want to develop the human race just by relying on the Hope Base. To a certain scale, it also takes a lot of time. Seeing He Zihao's statement, everyone on his side stopped saying anything and acquiesced in He Zihao's decision. Wang Feng's suggestion made them feel much more relaxed, and no one refuted it. He Zihao nodded to Wang Feng. After seeing that no one had any objections, He Zihao explained the attack plan in detail. Then he looked at the corpses in front of him, took a deep breath, and then raised his hand with a wave. He pointed at the group of corpses and shouted, "Everyone! Attack!" After receiving the order, everyone immediately formed the formation that He Zihao had just arranged and rushed towards the corpses. Wang Feng took the lead. Before them, he turned into a stream of light and fell into the tide of corpses. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 520. The reason why Wang Feng also took action was because he felt that he was idle anyway, so he might as well kill some zombies. With his cooperation, maybe before Xiao Wu and the others came back, they could kill all the zombies numbering over 100 million. Otherwise, relying on He Zihao and the others alone, although they could definitely clean up all the zombies here, it was hard to say how long it would take. After all, there were only more than 500 people. On average, each person had to kill more than 20,000 zombies, which was definitely not an easy task. Even if one person was asked to kill more than 20,000 pigs that had no power to resist, it would be a very terrifying job. This battle lasted for 3 days, and even He Zihao and his people took turns to rest several times, because their physical strength was not enough to support them to fight for such a long time. At this time, those people's suspicion of Wang Feng had already completely disappeared, not for anything else, but because the number of zombies killed by Wang Feng alone was almost comparable to the total number of zombies killed by all of them. Especially after the killing lasted for about a day, the huge elephant stood up and joined the battle. Wang Feng simply became a veritable god of war. He rode directly on the elephant, holding the bow of Apocalypse, and arrows were constantly fired from his hand like a rainstorm. The elephant rushed directly into the zombies and ran rampant, without even using its tusks and trunk. Just the 4 thick elephant legs trampled countless zombies into meat paste. He Zihao and the others saw clearly that even if they did not take action and gave Wang Feng a little more time, he and the terrifying elephant would be able to wipe out the zombies. Is it necessary for such a person to deceive them? If Wang Feng really wanted to get something from them, I am afraid it would not take much effort even if he wanted to kill them all. Moreover, Wang Feng did not intend to hide his apocalypse space from them, because even if he wanted to, he could not hide it. The source of those arrows alone showed that Wang Feng must have a mysterious space on his body, otherwise where did he hide those tens of thousands of arrows? So Wang Feng simply let go and fought. While fighting, he put all the corpses of those zombies into the apocalypse space, no matter whether they were trampled into meat paste by the elephants or shot to death by his feather arrows, none of them were spared. Often, Wang Feng could kill most of the zombies in a small area with a rain of arrows, and then the elephants rushed over and trampled, and the zombies in that area were basically clean. Then Wang Feng put all the corpses and feather arrows of the zombies into the apocalypse space, absorbing life energy and retrieving arrows. In this way, Wang Feng's killing efficiency was not ordinary, and Wang Feng did not circle or go straight along a fixed route, but went wherever he found high-level zombies. He even went to the place where He Zihao's convoy stayed twice. One is to recover their own physical strength, and the other is to load the zombie bodies in the apocalypse space into the truck they brought. Wang Feng already knew the purpose of He Zihao and his team coming here, which was actually mainly for the zombie bodies. The defense construction of their camp was okay, but the food was seriously insufficient. Now it was not like the beginning of the apocalypse, when they could go out to search for food. The collection of survivors, plus the passage of time, there were not many edible foods that people could find in the world now. So they thought of coming here, killing some zombies outside, transporting the zombie bodies back, and ripening some crops for emergency. Because of the appearance of the devourer, the zombies now were basically concentrated in a certain area by the devourer with the life ball, and there were basically no scattered zombies or small groups of corpses outside. However, this time they met Wang Feng, they made a lot of money. The convoy had already changed from a small convoy of 11 vehicles to a large convoy of more than 100 trucks. They found many large trucks in the city and filled up the gas station with oil, preparing to transport more zombie bodies back. Because of Wang Feng's existence, they don't even have to move the zombies themselves. Wang Feng can help them with everything, so now He Zihao and his people look at Wang Feng without suspicion and hostility, but because of Zhao Ying's previous incident, they didn't show too much enthusiasm. Wang Feng didn't care, just focused on killing zombies. He found that with this elephant, his combat power was not a little bit improved, but unfortunately, Wang Feng was going to sea this time, and he was afraid that he couldn't take this guy with him, which was a bit depressing. It would be great if the apocalypse space could accommodate this elephant. Unfortunately, Wang Feng had asked Apocalypse about this question countless times, and each time Apocalypse's answer was negative. Apocalypse said that the only way to put an elephant into the apocalypse space was to kill it and turn it into a corpse, so that it could be easily put in. This answer made Wang Feng very frustrated, but after thinking about it, he had to return to the Hope Base in the end, which was the main battlefield for him to fight against the Devourer. However, how to arrange this elephant during his absence became a problem. When the last zombie fell under Wang Feng's bow and arrow, Wang Feng finally put down his arm and put away Tiankai. Then, he commanded the elephant to roam around the battlefield and collect all his arrows and zombie corpses. He Zihao's fleet eventually grew to nearly 500 tails of trucks. Wang Feng estimated that if it weren't for the shortage of manpower, He Zihao would probably use all the vehicles that could be started here. But even so, they can't bring back all the zombie corpses. Besides, there are still some resources that they can use in the city to take back. Wang Feng didn't take away any zombie corpses. He Zihao what they couldn't hold, he piled in an open space. He knew that He Zihao and the others would definitely come back after they returned. After all, an emptied city would definitely be a huge asset to a survivor camp in the apocalypse. Therefore, Wang Feng specifically took out the life balls in the city after killing all the zombies and put them into the apocalypse space. In this case, even if those high-level zombies return, they will probably leave soon, and I won't stay here any longer. Thank you. Looking at Wang Feng, He Zihao thanked Wang Feng very solemnly. We are almost ready. How about, we leave first? He Zihao was too embarrassed to ask Wang Feng for the awakening potion, because in this battle, they had already gained more than they expected. It would be a bit shameless to ask for more, even if he knew that on his side, everyone wanted him to ask Wang Feng for help, but he still couldn't open his mouth. Although the people behind him had tried their best to encourage He Zihao to ask Wang Feng for the awakening potion he was talking about, when Wang Feng stood in front of them, They all blushed and looked at Wang Feng, but they didn't. A person who is willing to take the initiative to bring up this matter. Looking at the expressions of these people, Wang Feng felt very happy, but at the same time, he nodded secretly. From the performance of these people, they were not the kind of greedy and shameless people. If it weren't for the relationship between them, because of Zhao Ying's death has an unbreakable knot in his heart. Maybe Wang Feng will fully invite them to join the Hope Base. Haha. Why did you leave before you got your reward? Wang Feng said with a smile. All the evolvers, line up in front of me. Let me declare first that I can purify the potion, but I need to use a drop of yourselves. If you don't believe it, you don't have to queue up. Also, I don't recommend you use it now because the awakening process takes a long time, at least about a week. So after you get the potion, it's best to go back and find a safer one. Place, use the awakening potion under someone's protection. If there is no doubt, you can queue up. Remember not to mess up the queue, especially the order. Where you are in the queue now will be where you will be in a while. I am not responsible for taking a bunch of potions and not being able to awaken. As soon as Wang Feng finished speaking, He Zihao's evolvers all lined up in front of Wang Feng. No one questioned Wang Feng's words. Wang Feng even saw these people and carefully looked at himself. The people in front and behind were afraid that they would remember the wrong location and take the wrong potion. After these people lined up, Wang Feng quickly ran from the front to the end of the line. He took a drop of blood from each of these people, and then returned to the front of the line again, standing quietly, waiting for the potion. Synthesis. During this period of time, no one in the team spoke, and everyone remained quiet. Only He Zihao and the other 10 awakened people glanced at Wang Feng from time to time, seeming to have something to say, but none of them spoke. Wang Feng guessed their thoughts, so he shook his head and said, "My superpower can only create awakening potions, and it must require a drop of the user's blood. Therefore, I can't do anything for you awakeners. As for your camp, there is nothing I can do about the other people among them. In addition, I don't know how your camp is being built. If it's not ideal, I still suggest you move back to Cat City. The defensive walls built by the Devourers are still good. In addition, we also built if anything goes wrong, you can contact our base quickly. If you move back, we can help each other without you joining the Hope Base. We can even support you with some necessary supplies, such as food or drinking water.